Hello and welcome to the OMO Podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Cisco Garcia.
You know, I told this on the podcast before, but I got GameFly again for $1.
A buck?
Uh-huh.
How'd that happen?
Well, I can go back to the original story for anybody who doesn't know, but like, originally I signed up for GameFly, I think like 6 months ago, and I had it a long time ago, but I got a brand new account or whatever. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, they got a free month? Sure, I'll take that, you know?
Yeah.
And then, I was like, well, I'll just buy the next month so I don't feel like a cheapskate, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But somehow, some way, towards the end of the month, I was like, well, I could save the $16. I know it doesn't sound like much, but I'll save it.
Yeah.
And then they gave me a deal. They're like, well, like right when I canceled, they're like, well, we'll give it to you for half off. Well, I'll do the next month for half off. That's totally cool.
Yeah.
And then I canceled again after that. And then every couple months, they'll give me like a deal. Either like they'll give it to me for half off, or they'll give it to me for like $1 or something kind of just low.
Yeah.
And this one came around again too, and they gave me it for $1, and they gave me it for like the 2 games out at a time, which was like $24
really?
regular.
Sweet.
And at first I was like, oh, that's cool. I'm like, what am I gonna get?
Yeah.
What am I gonna? I'm like, oh fuck, I'll just get all the Wii U games that I always wanted to play, but I didn't really want to spend $60 on.
Yeah. You know, GameFly is one of those things. I feel like now I have some time, I might be able to actually use that. So I'm thinking about getting it myself. You know, I just don't want to be consumed by it. You know what I mean?
I think it's totally worth it if you play a lot of games though, still, because like I don't know, $24 is or whatever for like 2 games. I mean, even if it's $16 for like 1 game out of a month. I mean, that's 1 game, then you ship it back and you get another game.
Yeah.
And it takes a little bit longer than Netflix because it has to go all the way down to Los Angeles instead of Sacramento. So like when you ship it back, I think because Netflix is like I ship it back, there's 1 day, then they ship another one that gets to me on the 3rd day.
Mm-hmm.
Where this one I think gets to me the 4th or 5th day, give or take.
Yeah.
So you almost have to say there's a week that you kind of don't get that service for a bit.
Yeah.
And I know they do have something cool, like if you had internet and a really nice PC, is they got all these like PC games you can stream for free.
Okay.
Or whatever. And it's like when you can't really take advantage of that, you're like, well, I know that's like why you can keep the price a little bit higher, but it's like.
But can you do that on the PS4 and Xbox?
No, not yet.
Xbox 2, whatever it's called, Xbox One, whatever the damn thing's called. You can do that. They can do that now, or you can't.
Not yet.
Okay.
I feel that in the future, I feel like that will be kind of like how it's going to go. But
I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet. It should have happened like 2 years ago. You know, I mean, if
think
that had
you really
happened 2 years ago, GameStop would have been out of business, I think, at this point.
Yeah, there might be something holding on. It's kind of like, I remember always when you look at the downloadable games on, say, Xbox or PlayStation, and you go, why the hell is the game $60 for a download when I could go get the physical copy for $60?
That's stupid. It should be at least 20% cheaper.
This is why it is, though. It's because if the game was, say, like the game was like $40 or even $50,
yeah,
it would cut out the market of like Best Buy, GameStop, Walmart, Target, so on. Because they'd be like, well, you can't be selling the game cheaper. Nobody's gonna come here and buy it.
So they won't. What are you saying? So they won't take it from those?
Yeah, I think it's just like those.
So they won't sell them if
those companies kind of have like that kind of hold where it's like, well, we don't want you to sell that digital stuff too cheap. It has to be the same price.
Or else they won't hold their product or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I just still think you should get a little bit of a discount. You know, like I know you're not paying taxes though, right? That's one thing.
That is a good question. No, you do pay taxes on there. I want to say.
I think maybe nowadays you do.
Yeah, I think now. It didn't used to be, but now.
Yeah.
Because I want to say something. I want to say like Nintendo, like the tax must be included. Because I want to say it's just straight when you buy something.
Yeah.
But I want to say Xbox has tax when you buy a game.
Maybe I don't think PlayStation does. I haven't.
That is a good question. It's been a while since I downloaded something.
Yeah. But I gotta say, I got a lot of use out of those downloaded games. I mean, I downloaded Harvest Moon Back to Nature about maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago. I played the game straight for like a month and a half. You know, paid $6 for it. Totally worth it.
I always thought the PlayStation had the best prices for all those things, though.
Yeah, and they've got all the games I really want. Like, if someone gave me a gift card for like $200, just saying, listeners, like I could go there and like seriously like get like 20 games.
You could just get all kinds of PlayStation games.
And I'd be so happy. I could just like complete my PlayStation collection. But I mean, speaking of completing my PlayStation collection, one thing I did that I was showing Spencer the last time we did a podcast was. So when I went to college, of course, as everyone does, they pack up all their shit and they lose a lot of stuff in the process. But I finally decided, you know what, it's time to go through all that stuff. So I went through all my childhood boxes the other day. And I would say I had about maybe 40 boxes worth of stuff. And that sounds like a lot, but then you got to think about it. That's my whole childhood. I've got all my papers. You know, my parents were one of those people that never threw anything away. So I went to their house.
You got like all your school stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents have all that too.
So I went through all those boxes the other week, and I probably whittled it down to like, I'd say 15 to 20 boxes, which still sounds like a lot, but from 40, it's pretty
that's
good.
still pretty. That's half down.
Yeah, but what I'm getting at is I finally found all my old video game systems and all my old video games and all that stuff, and probably the prize jewel of it is I found some N64 games that I was looking for that I hadn't found in a long time. Like I found the gold edition of Majora's Mask, which I thought I'd lost, but I found that.
You found the Sega Marine fishing controller?
I found the Sega Marine Fishing controller. I found the Donkey Konga bongos. I had two of them.
Yeah.
And that was a fun game.
That's a great game.
And then I found, probably something else is kind of a gem, is I found Michael Jackson's Moonwalker.
Oh, don't you have it in the case too?
I have it in the case, yeah.
Yeah.
That one's worth like $50 now.
It's funny because that game
$40.
for the longest time was worth nothing. Second Michael Jackson died, that thing went up so quickly.
It was ridiculous, and I'm glad I have it now. But finally arranged them neatly in like this like little storage bin. It's something I've been saying I was going to do since I was like 10, but I always half-assed it. But now I finally did it. So it's really nice to just be able to like, oh, now I know where I can find all my games and all my systems are in one drawer, and it's great.
I like having all my stuff kind of on display. I like kind of walking in like you're at like your own public library.
I know, exactly.
And you just kind of go like, oh, here's my DVD collection, and here's my video games, and my books. Yes, the study.
Yeah, exactly.
It'd be nice to have like a whole room someday if you just like had your own house where you could just dedicate an entire room to be like a library.
Oh yeah.
Make it like look old fashioned, but like filled with like video games and.
Well, yeah, that's what I plan to do one day. Once I have my own house and like have a mortgage and all that stuff, I'm gonna probably get a man cave and have like the big screen TV. I'll have like a bar in there with like draft on it for like friends to go around on a couch. I'll have a pool table, and then I'll have all my video games on one line. On one wall, all my DVDs on the other wall,
all the books on
all my
like
sports stuff on the walls,
yeah.
stuff like that, and all my books there, and just be like that perfect space for all that. And it's
it'd
gonna
be cool to have a secret entrance to it too.
That would be cool, yeah.
Like where you like pull a book back or something and like it's
Oh,
spins
yeah,
open,
yeah.
something cool like that.
Yeah, pull a book like nobody would nobody would look at like pre-algebra or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it goes into the basement or something. And this is not just gonna be like your regular man cave, like the size of like a den. This is gonna be like, I know it's not really. Can't see it because we're on radio, but it's about the size of Spencer's room here. It's big enough size for a nice size man cave, I'd say.
Yeah.
I'd say most man caves are about half the size of this room we're in right now. But I want.
Yeah. Well, this room right here, it's just like it's kind of like an all-in-one. It's kitchen, it's I guess a bedroom, a weight room, TV room, living room.
Exactly. But yeah, that's my goal. Probably like 10 years from now. But
What's that like? What's your goal? I'm like, well, they have a man cave. That's my goal.
That is really my goal. That's like the best thing.
You can almost just have a man cave and not even like bother with the rest of the house. Just make an entire house just of one man.
Just the man house.
Man house.
Just have a giant sign over the house. It just says the
man house. It's all like neon bars.
Lights up.
Just got a picture of you giving like thumbs up like in a neon sign.
Yeah. No girls allowed. The man house. Yeah. Like the ultimate clubhouse. Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Probably there's no girls allowed. Everyone's gonna think it's like a gay bar.
I know nowadays. You can get away with that when you're like 8.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. There's a cutoff limit for that, like no girls allowed sign.
It's kind of like like how you couldn't wear Halloween costumes from the age of like 12 to 18. But now you look like a freak if you don't go out for Halloween, and you did when you were a kid, but you look like a freak in your teenage years. Now it's like.
Yeah, people
the other way
now
around
you're
for
like,
things like that.
Nobody cares. Once you get older, you realize that nobody really cares.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the first thing you know. It's like,
yeah,
unless you're maybe wearing a Halloween costume every day of the week,
yeah,
nobody really cares.
I don't know.
But there's always that weird high school thing. It's like even if you want to do things, you just can't. You're like, it's just not worth the risk.
Exactly.
Or if you do have a costume, you gotta have like what we do. We did like the Cheech and Chong one year.
Yeah.
You gotta have something that's kind of funny that like
something
they can
like
relate.
unique.
Yeah. It's not like you can dress up as a ghost, fag.
No, I can't dress up as a KKK member. Ah! And then you got the campus police after you. But yeah, okay.
Well, have you been playing any games recently?
Well, let's see. The most recent game I've been playing is just for the hell of it, I started replaying Super Mario 64.
I love that game.
I had a kick, going through all those games. I had that I started getting nostalgia, so I was like, I'm gonna go through this game again. So I did that because I had just beaten Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past. I talked about that on the last podcast, so I wanted to kind of stay on the same route in Nintendo games, so I did that. I'm thinking after that, I know I just beat it like a month and a half, 2 months ago, but I'm gonna go back to Ocarina of Time again.
You can never go wrong with Ocarina of Time.
And I'm just waiting for Majora's Mask either to be remade or to come out on 3DS because I want to replay that game, but I want to play a remade version of it, or I want to play it on the go or something like that.
And I'd like to have a nice copy of that game. It's one of those ones, because the N64 and the GameCube one, I guess you download it too, but it's like one thing that bothers me is I just hate how you can't save anywhere in that game. That's the one thing that I always think about. And the reason I always say that is because I've had that game freeze on me after like 2.5 hours of being inside a dungeon.
Yeah.
And
even on the GameCube version?
The GameCube version is the one it froze on me on.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's just like one of those ones because you can't save. I hate that. It's like until you restart the days.
Yeah.
That's the only like downfall of that game. It's just like, why did they do that?
I really feel like if they
and those stupid bird things, like they only give you that as like temp saves, like if you had to go somewhere.
Yeah. How do those temp saves work? Do you still get if you turn the game off, you can turn it back on and still save, right?
Yeah, like what it's made to like. It's kind of something Nintendo did for a while, and every once in a while you still see games with it where you're like, why?
Yeah.
But like you save, and then when you reload the file, it erases the file.
So you have to save again.
Well, yeah, but every time it saves, it closes the game, and then when you reload that file, then that file goes away.
So then you can save again though on that file, and you'll be fine, right?
Yeah, but you have to do like the official save of like going back in time.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's like you can't just save with that bird and then keep going.
Oh. It's
like once you save there, all you can do is turn the system back on and start up from there, but you don't get an actual save.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of obnoxious.
Mm-hmm. I saw that you posted the other day on Facebook, though, the N64 controller.
Oh, yeah, what?
The N64, like, handheld or whatever.
Yeah, there's somebody, like, I read this article on, like, I don't know where. It came off of Weave, though. And somebody out there modded this, like, pretty much a portable N64 thing. It's got a 3.5-inch color screen.
Yeah.
You could plug the N64 cartridges in the back, and then it kind of had the control. And I think, if I remember from I really kind of just read the article and looked at the picture for 10 seconds. Went, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But was the screen dead center and like kind of like the controller thing?
I believe so.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet though.
Yeah, I looked it up on Amazon. It wasn't too expensive. It was.
Were they actually for sale too?
It wasn't that brand. It was
okay. I think because that was like a prototype.
Yeah, it was a different brand option, but it was like $40 or $50.
You know, there's a lot of like sometimes if you get like one day I was out searching on the internet and I just kind of stumbled across these like random sites where people just make all kinds of mod stuff and sell it to you, and you can get portable like anything nowadays.
Yeah.
Somebody's out there making it, which I'm like, that's pretty badass. But then again, you go like, but I do own a PSP that I can kind of put all these games on too, and it's kind of the same thing. It's more like, I think having one of those like portable N64 is just cooler to like show to your friends or anything like that.
But then again, it would be cool if you could find out a way to, especially for the N64 version, to have 4 players. Like if you had two other people who had one of those controllers, and like you had some like splitter between you guys, and you could like.
That would be interesting how you do that. That'd be a project in itself.
Yeah.
But even still, that's kind of cool because you could take a lot of games.
Yeah.
Portable.
That would be cool. I mean, probably wouldn't even be a splitter nowadays. It'd probably be something wireless.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it's not gonna make you like get like the trading cable out.
Yeah. Oh, the good old fashioned Pokemon trading cable.
Because I remember there was a handful of other games that like had it. Like I remember there was F1 Formula Racer that you could use that thing for, like originally to play 2 players.
Yeah.
And then there's a couple other early Game Boy games, but like until Pokemon came out, there was no reason to really own that thing.
Yeah. Exactly. And then even with the one for Game Boy Advance, Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green, that came with those the
wireless thingy.
Wireless thingy. Like the first version of a wireless cord. Like nowadays it's just built into the system, right?
Yeah.
So if you had Pokemon Y or X, you could just like.
Well, you know what's kind of cool nowadays too? Pokemon Y and X, you could fucking go like, oh, I'm just gonna go. You know, there's Mr. Korean guy over there. I'm gonna go like trade Pokemon with him. You just go online. And you can just people everywhere, and they also got thing too where you can like randomly send Pokemon. Oh yeah. It's kind of weird.
What is it? So like. Kind of like up for auction, like whoever wants this one, then they give you a trade offer or something, or what?
Well, there's a couple like things like you can go up there and you can literally go like, hey, yo, I'm looking for like an Eevee or something. Even though I don't know why you look for it because you can capture them that one. But whatever. You're like, I'm looking for an Eevee, you know, and then somebody could like, you could look and this guy's got this, and you would see what they kind of want, you know, and you could kind of like bargain with them. And then there was also one where you could just like randomly send Pokemon. But I'm like, nobody's gonna fucking send like a fucking Charizard on the other side or something like that.
Yeah, just for the hell of it.
You know, unless somebody was really ballsy or something.
Yeah. But they would just send it for the heck of it?
Well, yeah, you could just send I could send a seal, and somebody could send me.
Oh wait, they send it and then they give you something randomly.
But yeah, you don't know what you're getting though.
So it's like,
pretty much you take all your shit Pokemon.
Here's an oddish, fuck you. It's like,
so you kind of take all your shit Pokemon, you kind of get rid of them, and you see what you kind of get, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's like scraping the bottom of a cereal box for the toy.
So that's kind of sad though. It's just one of those ones, just like you got all these poor creatures that you're like, you know what, you're just shit to me. I'm just gonna randomly trade you to somebody else across the world.
Pokemon, the international slave trade nowadays of video games.
Yeah. So the one thing I think about Pokemon is okay, the 6 Pokemon you take with you, okay, obviously these Pokemon, they're being taken care of, they're your friends and whatnot. The other 200 Pokemon that are sitting in your fucking box.
They're sitting in your box doing nothing. Slaves.
They could be out in the world frolicking in the sea or the bushes or the mountains, but no, they're just locked up.
Well, technically, they're at your professor's house, aren't they?
Yeah. Which we guys kind of wonder, what does he do with all these Pokemon?
Yeah, what does he do? He's probably got millions or hundreds of thousands of Pokemon.
Yeah. It's a weird thing.
Yeah. I don't know.
Speaking of Zelda though, probably if I go to play the next Zelda I was gonna play, I'm gonna get that Wind Waker HD one.
Yeah,
I haven't played Wind Waker since that game came out, and it's I'll just get the HD one.
That's the game it keeps biting my fancy. I want to get it, but I just don't know if I want to shell out the money right now. But I heard they fixed the sailing problem, which is
nice.
They
make it go faster.
Yeah,
and that was the biggest downfall of that game, because it took fucking forever.
Yeah,
it was just out there, and that was one thing I didn't like at first about it. But if they fix that, and then plus it's I'd like to give another go at that game.
Yeah,
I really like to play that one again.
Mhm.
But so at some point I'll get that one.
Yeah.
The other one you really still need to get though is Skyward Sword.
Yeah, I know. That's another game I need to get. I need to get the new Zelda games. I feel like I'm just waiting for the next Zelda game, but I feel like I should play Zelda Skyward Sword. Did they make a Wii U port of it?
No.
Okay.
It's just on the Wii.
Yeah.
But no, you should get that one. It is really, really awesome. Yeah. It's kind of the first Zelda game that feels kind of pretty much original,
Oh yeah.
Because the other ones, they all feel like they're kind of the same story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The first Zelda, Zelda 3, Zelda 64, Twilight Princess, they're all kind of the same thing. Slight differences. You're kind of in the same world, kind of go through the same dungeons.
Yeah.
You kind of get the same items. Where in this one, other than Link and Zelda, it just, everything's feels very new. It almost feels like playing Zelda for the first time over again.
Are you still in Hyrule, or where are you?
No, you're in this pre kind of Hyrule world. You live in the Sky Town thing or whatever, and then you kind of dive down to these different sections, and obviously one area is kind of water, fire,
yeah,
and then forest and so on. But
do they still have any of the original music?
I can't remember exactly.
Yeah,
that's a good question. It's been a while because I kind of haven't played that since it came out.
Yeah,
but that's one of those games where it's worth it. Even if you have to pay, I don't know how much it is now. It's probably still $40.
Yeah, something like that.
Zelda games very rarely ever go down.
Yeah.
Unless they make a player's choice or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One game that I kind of wanted to go back and play, but I probably not now because I'm playing the downloaded version of it, is the Super Mario 3DS, Super Mario 64, not 3DS, but Super Mario 64 DS.
Oh yeah, I like that one.
I lost my copy of that game and now I can't find it anywhere. I mean, it's still $25 used, $30 used.
That game kept its value the whole time. Never went down.
Ridiculous,
It's worth it though, so that's I guess.
I went to the GameStop to look at it. Fucking GameStop, of course. They do the cheap ass thing now where they got rid of the cases.
Yeah, I know.
It's why did they do that?
You know what always bothers me about GameStop too is back in the day when there was other used game stores, if the game didn't have its case, it was $10 cheaper.
Yeah.
Or especially if it didn't have its manual, it was $15 cheaper.
Yeah.
And GameStop thinks they can charge the same fucking price no matter what condition it's in, what.
If you're gonna charge me, if you're gonna sell me that game, you better sell it for $15 used if it doesn't have the case.
Yeah, it's well, if it's got the case and everything and it's in good condition, yeah, but.
Yeah.
I could never, and they've done that forever. I don't think they ever. They never had where they used to have different prices. I don't think everywhere else in the world had different prices. Because, back in the day, you go out to get a game. If it didn't have the manual, it's you would get it for at least $5 cheaper. Mm-hmm. That's how much the manual and the cases are always worth.
Yeah.
If they try to sell you a game, if they try to sell you a PlayStation 1 game back in the day, it was just the disc, you'd probably get it for $3. But if it had the case and the booklet and everything, you'd probably get it for $25 or something. Yeah.
Which is why I'm so happy that I still have all my boxes for a lot of my games. Especially that Michael Jackson game, because games like that you can still sell for more money with the case online.
Yeah.
But
Well, yeah, that's always like the key thing, is to have the case, and the booklet, and the manuals, and the maps, or whatever else comes with it.
I still have a giant little booklet of manuals if I ever need to sell my games.
I got a big fat stack. Cause I remember one of the game stores, they had a section of free manuals, so I just took all of them.
Yeah.
I was like, you never know when you're gonna need these.
Yeah. They're gonna add $5-6 to your game price sometimes.
I know, yeah, it does. I remember I got all kinds of the Mario RPG booklet from there, and I got just got the Mario in Time, and a couple other Super Nintendo RPGs and what have you.
One thing I'm a little bummed out with Nintendo right now is they've really kind of abandoned the Wii Classic downloads. That's kind of pissing me off because they didn't do enough. PlayStation put everything they needed to on there. Everything that on PlayStation PS2 that people really wanted, it's on there.
Mm-hmm.
But there's still the 20 plus N64 games they haven't put on there. At least 20 Super Nintendo games, of course Sega games, all those things they haven't put on there yet. And it's I'm willing to throw down if they put Super N64 on there. I'd pay $20, even $10-$20 if they put R264 on there, just because I know one day my copy's gonna die.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to play it on a system,
Well, I don't know. It's for the longest time they're probably still doing this way. They release 3 games a week.
Do they still release any games?
They do it for the Wii U.
Yeah, but I know, but they don't have any of the classic games, and it's all the freaking
The Wii U has classic games.
Yeah, but it's all the virtual console crap. I don't care about the virtual console crap really. I don't of new games that they're trying to make.
Those ones. Virtual Console's actually the Super Nintendo and 64 stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant
the other ones. I don't know what they call the other ones.
But I just don't like those weird original games they make. It's I don't care about those. Just put all the old games on there now.
My favorite thing what they do though is when every once in a while you'll find a remake. They remade the Game Boy Castlevania on there, and I got that. That's
cool.
badass.
Yeah, that's awesome when they do that. They just tweak a couple things. Maybe since it's the Wii U now, they can put them in the HD versions, which is one reason I love playing Super Mario 64. They reformatted it so it's 16:9 on my Wii U. Yeah.
Is it stretched?
Nope. Doesn't look stretched to me. It looks perfect to me.
Because I know a few 64 games are formatted for widescreen, like 007 and Perfect Dark.
No, I played Super Mario 64 and it looks perfect now.
Huh. That's weird.
It could be stretched, but I couldn't
it might be partially stretched, but almost where you don't notice it.
It looks great to me now, so I like playing.
Did you play any Super Nintendo games on there?
I played. I played.
Because they'd have to be stretched for those ones.
Those were still in what is it, 4x3?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played Link to the Past was like that.
Yeah, okay.
So I had to do that.
Because my Wii U just is I got all my stuff on my regular Wii. It's I'll just leave it on there.
Yeah.
I really want on the 3DS. I always say this every single time that whenever you kind of put your codes in to get your points on clubnintendo.com.
Yeah.
And they always ask well, what do you want to see? I'm like, why don't you put some fucking Super Nintendo games on your 3DS?
Yeah.
It's really, come on.
Or some N64 games.
It's nobody wants fucking Game Boy old school games. There was maybe 5 Game Boy games that somebody cares about, but 90% of it's they're too old.
Yeah, why don't they put Super Nintendo and N64 games on there?
Yeah, N64 games would be amazing.
Yeah, it's I understand that you want to save a couple games for remakes for 3DS games to buy. That's fine. But games that you're not planning to do anything with, like Harvestman 64, they should put that on the 3DS e-downloads or eShop.
And it should be universal too. It should be kind of on the PlayStation, how PSP and PS3.
Yeah. And
obviously, I think with PS4 and Vita. But where you could say you download a PlayStation game on your PS4 and then you can put it on your PSP and it goes back and forth. That's how they should do it too. Where because now I think if you buy it on your 3DS, you bought it on the Wii U, you can't go back and forth. It's just
that's ridiculous.
You have to buy it on both.
You should be able to buy. And another thing is Super Mario RPG. Why is that? Why can't I play that on my stupid 3DS now? Come on, I paid for it on my Wii U. On my Wii actually, way back when, and now I want to play it on a handheld. Come on.
Because it's both ones this is how I feel too. If you don't put it on there, then I'm just gonna go out and try to find somebody who's making a hack so I can put the emulator on.
Exactly. If you want to lose money, then go ahead.
Yeah, that's how I feel. It's just
really
not
hard.
Putting them out. It's just
Why don't you just take a break from making your Nintendo eDogs game and all those stupid crap games and do something like that. I don't care if Nintendo stop making games for a couple months. Just do that.
Well, it's just the one thing I liked about Sony is they really just put every PlayStation game you could think of on there.
Yeah, I have nothing to complain about with
I mean, I don't think there's any game I can think of that they don't have on there.
The only thing that I had a problem with was they wouldn't put Grand Theft Auto on there, but they finally did. They did. I'm like, okay, you fixed all the problems now.
That's PS2. I was just thinking PlayStation 1 games.
Oh yeah.
You know.
Yeah, and the PS1 games too. They have every single game. With the I probably, if I had a nitpick, there's something that I want that's not on there, but I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
I remember because every single time I think of the games, I'm like, oh, they got all the Resident Evils, they got all the Final Fantasies, they got all the Dino Crisis, they got Silent Hill, they got whatever else. They just had like everything.
Yeah.
You know, Nintendo, it's like you can go on there and you can flip through and go, well, where the hell's this and where's that? You know.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you can get like Mario and Metroid and, you know, Earthbound, but
they're trading the Virtual Console as a failed experiment, and the reason it is a failed experiment is because they haven't really tried. They totally they didn't even half-ass it. They quarter-assed that shit. It's like, come on, get your ass together and just fix that.
It's like Nintendo
put them all out at once, or at least, or do it once a week. I don't care. Just get them out there. You know,
it's funny too because Nintendo was the one that started this.
Yeah.
And then they kind of had just really slowed it down. I think about the 3DS because it's like you can get regular Nintendo games. They don't even have that many. It's just like you could just put them all out at once. Yeah. Just put every regular Nintendo game out.
You're not going to lose money by putting all the regular Nintendo games at once.
No, you're going to probably gain more money that way.
Yeah. Maybe the N64 games you could do once a week. That's fine. But Super Nintendo and NES games, just put them all out there. Just put your whole catalog online. Come on. Or at least, everything people actually enjoyed.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need to put every John Madden or something like that.
Yeah, or the football game.
You probably can't buy any of those. I bet you those ones probably have a weird licensing thing.
Probably you probably can't Joe Montana football or whatever 95 or whatever.
Yeah, all those ones.
Yeah.
I know you get things like Tecmo Super Bowl, but
yeah.
But yeah, it's one of those ones that's like I think about that for 3DS. It's just like come on. It's like or put more Game Boy Advance games on there. The only Game Boy Advance games I have are those ones I got from my Ambassador Club thing.
Yeah.
And it's like that's really badass, but just put more Game Boys on there. It's just I don't know.
Hard. Come on.
I don't know. It's been how long has the 3DS been out for? 3-4 years.
3DS? 2.5, 3 years. 2.5, 2.5, 3 years. Yeah. 3 years.
Yeah, I want to say at least 3 years.
Yeah.
So it's just one of those ones like hello. It's like because half the time you look on there, there's like nothing. I care about nothing. I care about.
The only game that I might download soon is Super Mario Land. That's on there.
Yeah, I got Land and Super Mario Land 2.
That's it. I mean,
maybe
I was looking for
Link's Awakening.
Yeah, I was looking for Super Mario DS. I thought they'd had Super Mario DS as a download game, but no, I didn't find it on there. It's like
which
really?
one? The 64 one?
Yeah, it's like why is that not a downloadable game?
I guess because you can buy the DS game still, but
used at GameStop with no box or booklet, sure.
Yeah. Right by how? I wonder what did you check on eBay or anything?
I did, and it's about the same price. Of course, you get the booklet and box for most of them, but still, it's like I don't want to. I'm looking to pay $20 for that game.
Yeah, especially it's one of the ones, especially when you I know I already own this at one point.
Yeah, I have 3 versions of the game, but I just wanted the handheld, and I'll pay $20 for it, but no more than that.
That'd be another smart thing too, is just to put all the DS games on there as downloadables, even if they were like $20 or something.
If Nintendo just jumped onto the let's kill GameStop movement and put all their games for the rest of their life on downloadable.
It's
actually,
not like in general, it's one of those ones. The thing about GameStop is you can't really buy any old games there, anyways.
Yeah, and honestly, I know I wouldn't be able to get my cartridges, and I know that would be kind of sad. But at this point, I'm just so pissed at GameStop that I wouldn't mind if Nintendo completely put their entire catalog and the rest of their games as downloadable games. I know it would be a pain in the ass for people like me and Spencer who don't have internet and we have to go somewhere to download games.
Yeah.
But if they really want to make money and Nintendo wants to survive, I feel like that's gonna happen, and I feel like they should jump on that movement.
Well, I just feel like it's either do it. It's like since you already kind of sort of have it going, just go the whole distance.
Yeah.
Don't kind of give a half-ass version. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And don't try to sell me a Game Gear game because I don't care. I'm not gonna pay $5 for a Game Gear game.
Yeah, no one's gonna do that.
It's like
what are their? I want to look at their sales sheets for how much money did they make on 32X or whatever the hell's on there.
They don't have 32. If they had 32X on there.
Not 32X, but what is it? What is it they have? Famicom or not Famicom? Not Famicom.
You're thinking about on 3DS?
No, on the Virtual Console games.
On the Wii or on the 3DS?
Either,
Well, I know on a 3DS, all they got for Virtual Consoles, they have regular Nintendo, Game Gear, and Game Boy.
Yeah.
And then on the other one, I know they have. I don't think they have, unless they got 32X games at some point. I don't know.
They have something. They have 6 or 7 consoles on there.
Well, they got the TurboGrafx 16.
Yeah. What are their sales on TurboGrafx 16? Honestly.
Well, that was a popular system for its time.
Yeah, for its time, but the average person really buy those games nowadays?
Yeah.
It's other than are they gonna make money off putting it on there? It's like...
And a lot of those games, too, they should really, like... I always felt like, you know, if you're going to sell a Game Boy game, it should be no more than, like, $1.99.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not going to pay $6.99 for a lot of these Game Boy games.
Yeah.
You know, maybe Zelda Link's Awakening is about the only one that's like, that would probably be worth it.
I'd pay $5 for that game.
You know, but yeah, $5, not $6.99. It's just like...
Yeah.
I mean, what do they think they're getting at? Like, you know what I mean? It's...
No.
Yeah, I remember even like kind of when like the Virtual Console first came out on the Wii, and they were kind of charging like $4.99 for regular Nintendo games. I'm like, I'll pay $8.99 for a good Super Nintendo game.
Yeah.
But even like $4.99 for it's like...
And they haven't even gone down in price, have they?
No.
On the Virtual Console.
What's funny is like you can get like...
think after a while they'd go down in
you
price.
get like, you know, a PlayStation game for $4.99.
Then you get an NES game for the same price. Like,
yeah,
really?
it's just like, why?
Yeah. PlayStation had like the perfect pricing system. Was like $6.99 for like the games that were, you know, pretty popular but okay games, like racing games or something like that. And then like the good games like Final Fantasy was like $10.
It was like, yeah, it was like
That's-
$10 for
that's
like the
perfect.
big disc game.
And that's
Weren't some of them like
perfect.
$4.99 too?
Some of them, yeah. Some were even like $3.99. But yeah, it's like I got Final Fantasy 7 and 8 for $10 each and 9. I'm like, that's totally worth it. I'll pay $10 for that. That's the price I want to pay. That's the perfect price for those games. You know.
Yeah, I don't know. But well, other games I've been playing recently, I finally beat Metroid Prime 3.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, that was one of those ones like I got it like when it came out like a long time ago.
How was that?
And it's one of those ones that, like I started it up and then you know just never finished it. It sat there forever. And the stack, you know, always got the stack games. Like at some point I'm gonna beat these games.
Yeah.
Till that day. It was pretty darn good. I liked it. You know, wasn't as good as Metroid Prime 1. Definitely better than the second one. Second one's okay. Kind of has like that.
Yeah,
kind of half-assed thing where it's like, oh, we go into the dark world, which just means like, well, you can just reuse the same level and then just make it a different like tone and color and.
Yeah, just render it differently. I think I had the that was one for GameCube, right?
Which one?
Metroid Prime 2, or was that for Wii?
Yeah, Metroid Prime 1, 2 were for GameCube, and then Metroid Prime 3 was for Wii.
Yeah, 2. I think I had the demo disc.
Yeah,
that
cause
one.
I think we got from Nintendo Power.
Yeah, I think we did too. Yeah.
You know, and that's not like 2 was bad. It was just one of the ones that definitely was not up to par as the other ones.
Yeah.
But 3 was pretty cool, and it's one of those ones like it had like those really like tight controls for like almost saying like, hey, you could have a first-person shooter on the Wii.
Yeah.
Though every other one I've kind of played has never been that smooth. They always feel like they're too like, you know, you move it to the right, next thing you know you're going way too far to the right. You go left and it goes way too far to the left and everything.
Yeah.
But, no, it was pretty much all around good. It kind of had that thing towards the very end though, where it's just like, you had to trek all this fucking way. It's like, oh, you got a code. Now go back all the way over this direction. Oh, okay, put that code in. Okay, now go all the way back this other direction, and then we can finally get to the end of the game.
Yeah.
And it's just like, Jesus Christ. Sometimes you do. It's like I kind of wish in a Metroid game you could like warp.
Yeah.
Like that would be like, because you know at least just warp to your ship or something like that. Because I kind of always hate like, okay, I gotta walk all the way fucking back.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well,
What other games have you got?
let me think.
Did you get any new movies?
Well, other than The Wolf of Wall Street, I did get that.
I got that one. I was kind of bummed that like the special features weren't that great on it.
Yeah, it was like that 15-minute.
Yeah, it had like it was like in that 15 minutes or 17 minutes or whatever it was. It was good, but I was really looking forward to them. Like, one, I wish they had the like that because Martin Scorsese said originally that movie was like 3 hours and 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
I really wish they would just put like a director's cut. Or
They might do that
extended
thing
one.
in like 3 months where they release this.
And then I was thinking about, I'm like, does Martin Scorsese really have special edition DVDs? Because I think of all the ones I have, they're like none of them are special edition that much.
Goodfellas, no.
You know,
Casino, no.
No, my Taxi Driver is pretty special edition. It's the 2-disc one.
You'd think the Goodfellas would come out with some. Maybe the Goodfellas did come out with a version. I think they might have actually. Not for Blu-ray though.
Yeah, so that's kind of weird how they do that. They'll like release a really special edition one for DVD.
Yeah.
And you think if you get the Blu-ray one, you'll be getting the same thing, and then you realize no, they just gave you the theatrical one.
Yeah. No, they haven't really done that much for his movies. I'm trying to think, what else have I gotten recently? I did get a really cool book a little while ago. It's called Beyond the Pale, and it was the story of the Sierra Nevada Brewery up in Chico.
Oh, nice.
That was a really cool story because it's like, because Sierra Nevada Brewery was one of those breweries that was one of the first ones to start like the movement in beer, so it wasn't just like Bud Light, Coors Light, Miller Light, like all they had.
Yeah, just the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, it was Sierra Nevada came out in I think '79. They started their trademark, I think, and then they started making beer in like 1980. But it's a really cool story. It just shows like, you know, they were like the first microbrewery really to like start the beer renaissance in the 80s, 90s, you know, 2000s. But That was a really interesting book. I would suggest people to read that. I haven't finished it yet, but I've gotten a few chapters in. And
Now, Sierra Nevada, is that the second independent top one?
Yeah, the biggest one is Boston Brewing Company. The one with Sam Adams, and then Sierra Nevada. It's kind of like the West Coast version of the Boston Brewing Company, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But I guess they just expanded. They just made a new brewery in North Carolina, I think they said.
No, okay.
So now, more people on the East Coast will have Sierra Nevada.
Well, I just remember being on the East Coast, in Nashville, and then when they had Sierra Nevada, in a Whole Foods area, it was almost like, ooh, look at it, exotic beer.
Exotic beer, yeah.
That's how they treated
from
it.
the West Coast, but it's funny because it's older than people think, because it's really almost.
Yeah, for some reason I thought it was only 20 years old.
No, it's about 35, almost 35 years old.
Yeah, for some reason I don't know why I felt like as a kid it was sort of
No.
It's
It
funny
was
how
the first of the new beers.
It's weird when you're a kid, how beer, I don't know what it is, when you're in that under 10 years old range, beer is just a really big thing.
Yeah.
When we had our soccer team and we were sponsored by a brewery company.
That was awesome.
That was the coolest kid thing that any kid could want.
Yeah.
I don't know, and I don't know why it is, because kids don't really have any notion of what alcohol is. I guess they just have this thing that's just
they saw their dad drinking beer.
Yeah, so you think it's just the coolest thing ever. You're like, we're the beer team. What are you?
What are you guys?
Harry's Hardware.
Yeah, we were the Snowshoe Brewers. I remember that. That was awesome. That was the coolest team we were on. That had the coolest people on it. I remember. I don't think we were the best team, but we just had the coolest kids.
Yeah, I think we won 4 games tonight.
Yeah.
But
that was
yeah, I'm so glad that at Pizza Factory in 29 they put our pictures back up of those teams.
They did? Of the old ones?
Did you see that?
No, I haven't seen that. Yeah.
If you go right above the arcade, when you're entering it, there's all our baseball and
are we on there?
Pictures. Yeah. There's
Nice.
3 of them or so.
Which one's on there? Is the Snowshoe Brewers on there?
That one's on there.
Awesome.
I think one of the baseball teams is on there. But yeah, they must have just. Because I remember for the longest time I was like, what happened to all our pictures and stuff? Because we used to have them all up in there.
Yeah.
And they kind of took them down and put the modern kids in there and stuff. And then I was like, they must have just found these in the fucking I don't know, storage unit of Pizza Factory and pull them out and slap them back up on there.
Yeah. Pizza. That makes me want to get pizza. I still have some time. We should get pizza after the podcast.
I actually had pizza yesterday with RJ.
Oh, you did? Where'd you guys go?
We just went to Round Table.
Okay.
Got a pepperoni or whatever.
Nice. Yeah.
And then we went to go play Dead or Alive. I think I beat him 15, and he won 3 times.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and we had 3-round matches.
They have Dead or Alive there?
No, we played at his house.
Oh, okay.
No, I haven't seen Dead or Alive in the arcades in a long time. I don't think Dead or Alive had arcades past number 2. I don't think number 3 had an arcade unit.
I thought it did. Maybe not.
I want to say that was one of the first times they're we're console only.
Yeah. Maybe.
Speaking of which, too, if you go to Pizza Factory, they got Time Splitters 3 there. Or not Time Splitters, I mean Time Crisis.
Time Crisis 3.
It's actually a really good copy of it so far. It's not fucking discolored and the guns are off and everything.
I think it'd be funny if they tried to put the Lost World game in there and they had to take 4 arcades out just to fit it in there.
Well, that Time Crisis 3 one's fucking huge.
Yeah.
I mean, that's probably just as big as the Lost World one.
Yeah.
You know? I love the Lost World one. Someday I'm going to own one of those cabinets.
I mean, how much can those go for nowadays? I would
pretty expensive. It's over $1,000 for one of those.
I think I would throw down $300 or $400 for one of those cabinets. For Lost World, for the Lost World.
It'd be sweet to have the man cave and then to put up all those arcade units that you always liked.
Yeah.
Put the Lost World game in there.
Well, what I'd do is I'd get the Lost World cabinet and then just get the cartridges for Time Crisis, 2 and all those games just to play them in the Lost World cabinet,
Hopefully they would fit in the same way. I know that a lot of those ones are kind of similar.
Mm-hmm.
But I know some of them are different at the same time too.
I've never actually seen what those games look like.
The cartridges?
Yeah.
If you look at them online, I'm not too sure what the Lost World one looks like, but because you can look at them up on eBay and buy the cartridges for Neo Geo and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And they look 3 or 4 times bigger than a Super Nintendo cartridge.
Really?
They're pretty sweet looking.
Yeah. That would be pretty cool to have.
I would get a Neo Geo unit to have that in there.
Yeah.
It would just make the place pretty sweet, Put a couple pinball machines.
Yeah. I went to this really sick store in Old Sac maybe 2 months ago. 2-3 months ago. It was an old, vinyl shop. And I went in there and the guy had an arcade room. I forgot the name of the store, but went in there and he had the Indiana Jones arcade, he had the Star Wars arcade, he had the old Kiss arcade.
Indiana Jones? Oh, pinball machine?
Pinball.
Okay.
Oh, pinball, yes.
I was like, was there an Indiana Jones arcade machine? I don't remember that.
Pinball room, excuse me. But yeah, they had the original Kiss pinball machine.
That's
there.
badass.
It was awesome. And that place, the Gypsy Shack, has a couple arcades, I know.
Yeah, they don't work though.
Yeah, they do.
The Indiana Jones one doesn't work. I'll tell you that.
I just played it.
Really?
Like,
I remember like a couple months ago, I was trying to play it and it didn't work.
Yeah, I went there like 2 weeks ago and just played it.
Maybe they fixed it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like it's Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull, so it's not like the coolest one to have, but still.
But it's still cool,
it's
you
still
know.
a pinball machine.
Yeah, I wanted to just like to buy the Kiss one.
I know, it'd be nice to have a handful of pinball machines though.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And I know you could sort of buy those not too expensive. You ever take them what they are?
Personally, pinball's one of those things that I'm not a big pinball guy, so I'd buy like maybe 2 and be happy with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, like if I had the Kiss one and like the Star Wars one, that's all I'd need.
You know, I miss those days like when they used to. You know what? Actually, what I'd have? That Jurassic Park one.
Yep, there you go. Yep, Star Wars and Jurassic Park, and then I Kiss.
I remember
so I had 3.
They
Star
used
Wars,
to have the
Jurassic
Jurassic Park one at like a Pizza Factory back in the day.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That was like the coolest thing about pinball. And I think that's like you just get like the whatever it is, whether it be a movie or they'd have even weird ones like the Playboy one.
Yeah, they have that.
And then they would have like cartoons like Simpsons and whatnot,
Yeah.
and television shows. I think there's a Seinfeld one.
Uh-huh. Well, another.
They had like an NBA one for some reason.
Yeah. Another game I would get a cabinet for though is the Star Wars arcade.
The one where
You know, the one that 4 levels, I guess.
yeah, and it's like first one you're on Hoth, I think.
You get to choose.
And then there's
wherever
the
you
Endor
wanna go.
level. Then you like, and I guess they go, but yeah.
Yeah, you get Endor, Hoth, then the first movie is just the.
I think they called it
the
Star Wars Trilogy Arcade. I think that's what that one was.
Yeah, that
Because
one.
it came out like when they re-released
All those
the
awesome
movies.
'90s arcades.
That one's amazing.
For me, that was the heyday for arcades. Was the '90s.
Well, that's when they released all the like the big, huge games and stuff.
Yeah.
And sadly enough, it's like it's too bad that arcades still can't come around because you can still make some sweet things, but
Yeah, I mean, some still make them. Like I think Time Crisis still makes. Like I think.
they make quite a bit. They went to like Time Crisis 5. I know.
Yeah. Konami still makes arcades. I'm pretty sure.
You know, yeah, maybe like you very rarely see them because like you know like, when you go to Las Vegas nowadays, it's like all the arcade cabinets are like the same ones that were there like 15 years ago.
Yeah.
You know,
remember that.
very rarely. Every once in a while you'll see 1 or 2 somewhat new ones.
Yeah, I was in Reno. Maybe like. It was for Thanksgiving. I was in Reno. We stopped at Circus because it was the cheapest place to stay. And we walked by the arcade zone, and it was like a ghost zone. They were all on.
Nobody was in there.
Nobody was in there. That is a really depressing hotel, by the way, Circus in Reno.
Is it? I've been to Circus in Vegas.
It sucks. Like, I went there. It's one of those things like...
Actually, no, I've been to Circus in Reno. I take that back.
We
were there with the Motley Crue one.
Yeah. It was more happening then, but when I got there, there was like nothing going on. Most of the midway was closed. It just felt like Fallout.
Now, what time of day was this?
It wasn't it was a weekend. It was like a Friday night at like 9 o'clock. So it was
Wow.
later.
So it wasn't later because I know like.
But it wasn't like.
Remember like
super
when we were
late.
there after Motley Crue, we were fucking like walking around at like 3 in the
It
morning.
was hopping, but it felt like Fallout. Like honestly, it felt like Fallout.
Nobody's
Like
there.
New Vegas. But
Those arcade cabinets, I noticed they're just not that popular when you. It doesn't matter where you are.
yeah.
You know, unless
Well,
maybe.
kids don't carry change anymore either. I think that's the big thing.
Yeah, I think that's it too.
Yeah.
And I feel arcades, you know, they're not like appealing to children as much, or they appealing to probably adults.
Yeah.
You know, if you go to a place like in Santa Cruz, you know, with the beach boardwalk, because they got that kind of big arcade down there.
Yeah, I did that arcade last year. Like last summer, I went there. It's not as cool as I remembered it.
I remember like the last time we went there was that time we went camping like in San Francisco.
That's the last time we went to Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
Yeah. Santa Cruz is still a cool place.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's
It's
just
kind of
expensive.
weird though. It's like the older I get though, like the appeal of traveling to places isn't really as grand as it once was.
Mm-hmm.
I think as back in the day, kind of like like internet was really used to like buy stuff.
Yeah.
The coolest part about going to places because you'd find
Go to
just
the
stores.
Yeah.
And you'd get music stores, and you'd get video game stores, and you'd get like strange thrift shops, and all this different stuff that you might find really weird things, or you get those Japanese stores where you go buy like action figures and whatnot. And nowadays it's just one of those ones like you go down there, and most likely none of those stores exist anymore.
Yeah.
Or if they do, they kind of suck nowadays.
Now there's a couple places like Las Vegas is one place that's always fun to travel because they always have the unique stores because they can afford to stay open. You know
Well, I think about Las Vegas, even if you don't buy anything, it's just fun to go walk through a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Like I think it's at the Mirage. No, Caesar's Palace.
Uh-huh.
They got all those ones where you can walk through, and there's all those like different autographs, and then they have those kind of cool ones that got kind of like pop culture things. You can see like those like Beatles statues from like the '60s and whatnot.
Yeah.
So you get cool things like that. It's even if you don't buy anything, it's just cool to look at.
Yeah.
But a lot of regular towns though, it's just like their appeal is just not nearly as much. Like I just feel it's like You know, like even Santa Cruz, it's like it's not bad. What am I going to the arcades there? That's about the something I would go for.
Yeah, I don't even know if they have the arcade at Pier 39 anymore. I know I've been there a lot.
No, they don't.
But they got rid of it.
I want to say they got rid of that a long time ago too.
Yeah.
I remember the biggest appeal for like us with Pier 39 was a fucking flag store.
The flag store was awesome.
And I remember, I think with every time, I'm like, I don't know how many other kids were like, oh my god, the flag store, let's fucking run down to it.
It was so cool. Yeah, you get like old-fashioned flags there.
I just remember the coolest thing is because like any flag you could think of, you could get there.
Anything.
I mean, they even had the Nazi flag.
Yeah, the
it
Nazi
just,
flag,
it
they
just
had
blew
the
my
Soviet
mind. It's like,
flag.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, they had so many cool flags. And I found all my old flags I got a little while ago. Yeah.
I remember too, where kids was like, dude, there's the hot chick that works at the flag store.
They had the hot chick work there. I remember that. Yeah.
The flag store.
Flag store.
You know, because like really, like you'd go in there and pretty much everybody else would be like a senior citizen, like in there.
Yeah.
Like there was no other. They probably never had kids that went to the fucking flag store.
Yeah, I know.
I got so many of those flags. I got the little like set where I got like. I remember we bought like I gotta get the Iraqi flag. They might change.
Might change the flag. Yeah.
Like almost like these like collectible cards or something.
Yeah. And then what was the other one we got? Oh, the only cool store there now, I'd say, is they still have the antique store there. Again, it's one of those stores.
Is this
like,
Pier 39?
Yeah.
Okay.
Still ridiculously overpriced because it's, you know, like all the autographs that only like rich people go and buy, you know, drop, you know, $65,000 for Al Pacino's autograph, but you know, not that much. I'm over exaggerating, but it's still pretty expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's that like poster shop.
Yeah, the poster stores, but the one's like 2 stories, I think.
Yeah, that one's still cool. I mean, I like the NFL shop. That's one of my favorite shops there.
Oh yeah, you got Bubba Gums too.
Yeah, Bubba Gums is cool. I love that place. I don't care if people say it's like touristy. It's still a great place.
It's like yeah, it's got good food.
It's got good food. And it's got a cool store. And plus, I love that movie so much. You know.
Yeah.
It's gonna be interesting to see if that store is gonna, or if that.
Yeah, how much longer that place is gonna last? Because who the hell is gonna remember like Forrest Gump and
Yeah, in like 2030.
If clearly they can take the Back to the Future ride out of Universal Studios, because kids have no idea what Back to the Future is.
Yeah.
They're never gonna remember what the hell Forrest Gump is.
Well, even if it goes down as like, you know, a Casablanca type film, it's still gonna be weird to have a restaurant named after it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, it's just one of those. I don't know. You know, some movies stand the test of time, but it's always amazing. Like I was thinking about some movies that were just humongous. Like here's a perfect example. I bought this on Blu-ray a couple of months ago because it was $5. It was Con Air.
Con Air.
Do you remember when that movie came out though? How big of a blockbuster movie that was though?
Yeah.
And now like you almost feel like just kind of like pause and think, oh yeah, I remember what Con Air was.
Yeah.
But I just remember when that movie came out though, it was like so huge.
Yeah.
It was amazingly big, you know, and it had this humongous scene of like where a plane fucking crashes like in the strip of Vegas and all this stuff, and it had all these actors in it and everything. And nowadays it's just like, I bet if you asked a kid what the hell Con Air is,
Nah.
it'd be hard to find somebody who knew, unless they were like really into movies or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe it's one of those ones that like, well, I did grow up because my parents had the VHS copy of it or something like that.
Yeah, one of those things.
But still, I think about there's so many of those movies that are just like, they're such big movies at a time, and then nowadays, like, you know, how many people do remember it?
Yeah.
One thing I still think is always really weird, and I've said this many a times, and I'm still waiting for it though, is they've never released a good copy of True Lies. They have the one DVD that came out in 1997.
Yeah.
It's not formatted for widescreen TV. No special features.
Mm-hmm.
And, okay, not only... You would have thought that once Avatar came out, they would have said, like, well, let's just put all James Cameron's movies in special edition.
So, they didn't, yeah.
You know? And it's like, okay, not only it's James Cameron, but it's an Arnold Schwarzenegger film.
Yeah.
It was a Fox movie.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a humongous movie to top it all off.
Mm-hmm.
And they've never come out on... They never made a better version on DVD.
Yeah.
Never has even come out. Not even a cheap version on
Well,
like,
a few
Blu-ray.
of Arnold's movies have been like that. I mean, the only one that I can really think of
Well, because I
is
bought
Predator. Predator's the only one that they made a good
Well,
version.
they've released that one so many times. They have a new version of Predator out right now. Because I have, like, the first copy of Predator.
I have it on Blu-ray.
Yeah, you probably have the same one I have.
Yeah.
Is it the one where, like the movie actually looks... In general, and most of the movie all looks really, really good on Blu-ray, except for all the black characters.
I don't think I remember that. I haven't seen it in a while.
Because like on the copy I have, it's like Arnold Schwarzenegger looks really good, like the jungle looks really good, like all that does. But Carl Weathers and then what's his name, the other guy, really dark black guy, I can't think of his name right now. Even though I just watched Commando.
Oh, the guy who gets.
Yeah, the guy with the shaved head.
Yeah.
Like their skin like looks like it almost looks like it's got kind of like a trash bag, plasticky look to it. Like,
really?
You must have the same one I do, because like because you bought it a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah.
Because this newer one only came out like in the last probably less than a year.
Yeah.
And I noticed with a couple Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, they've kind of released like.
Yeah.
I noticed with a handful of Blu-rays, they've actually released like one copy of Blu-ray, and they would release kind of a shitty version, and then they'd have to go back and release another one, which is kind of weird.
Well, yeah, they still haven't made like Last Action Hero.
I have it on Blu-ray.
You do have it on Blu-ray?
Uh-huh.
Oh, I thought they didn't have that one.
Because I bought that one because I only had it on one. I only had it on VHS. I never had it on DVD. And I know the copies that they had on DVD, I don't think they were ever formatted for widescreen.
Yeah.
Or you get the pan and scan one, which was horrible.
Pan and scan.
Especially that Last Action Hero copy with the pan and scan was so bad. I remember watching that. No, I got it on Blu-ray though, and it looks fucking awesome. Because it's a 240 aspect ratio movie. Yeah. So like, it doesn't have any special features, but
yeah, what are you gonna do?
And then it's like I got the Commando one on Blu-ray, but I actually went out and bought because on DVD they had like a director's cut version of it, which has got a bunch of special features and stuff, but they didn't put that on the Blu-ray one. Yeah. Isn't that silly?
That is silly.
And then I got the like Total Recall they made one too, and I got the second copy of it. And like the first one apparently did a horrible job, and the second one they did a really good one. And they added a couple new special features to it. But it's just still, I was just thinking about like True Lies. It's not like it was even like a flop movie. It was a huge movie, you know what I mean? Yeah. It made a lot of money. It did really good. And yeah, they never did. Elijah Dushku actually like leaked that there was like a commentary track that they were working on for it. Really? So, but this was like almost like a year and a half ago. Oh, okay. So at some point, I think that they've been working on it. But I always look on Amazon every once in a while and go like,
nothing yet.
And then nothing. Yeah. You know, it's just so weird too. It's like why? And why not release? I would buy it if they just made a Blu-ray copy and had no special features. Yeah. I love to have special features, but
you know that movie that it's gonna be you have to be a child of the '90s to remember this movie. It's not a huge movie, but it's a movie that I'm still surprised they have not at least made on DVD yet. Do you remember that movie in the '90s called Beanstalk?
Yeah, I do. I've seen it like since the '90s, but
yeah, it was like about it was like a live action kind of hip '90s version of Jack and Beanstalk. Yeah, and I remember really enjoying the movie as a kid, but they never even put it on DVD.
Every once in a while, there's some movies that just never made it. There's like that movie Highway to Hell. I've never seen it on DVD yet.
Oh really? Yeah.
I have a couple other movies that they never made. Yeah. You know.
I can understand if it's an independent film, like the movie like Carnotaur I have or Carnosaur.
Oh yeah, the other dinosaur movie of like 1993. Yeah,
it was like an independent film, or low budget film. So
well, you know what that movie is? It's a Roger Corman movie.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah. So I understand that movie not coming out.
Because that's the movie. Because Mary had a trailer for the Fantastic Four, like the Roger Corman one on there.
Yeah. I found that movie the other day though, so we have a VHS copy of that.
Nice. I'd like to see that one again. I haven't seen it for a long time.
Yeah, that was a cool movie.
Yeah, there's so many movies. Just like, come on, release a good copy of them, if anything, you know. Yeah. I don't know, even though I do get kind of weird. Do you get weird about buying DVDs nowadays? Like, I always kind of go, well, if I really want it, I'd just buy it on Blu-ray.
It depends.
I mean, if it's like under $5.
When I go to the pawn shop, if it's under $5, I'll do like the 20 for $8 or whatever it is. 8 for $20. I mean, whatever. Like if it's like if they're throwing movies like, oh, I'm gonna show somebody this movie at some point. Oh, I want to try this movie out. Okay, I'll buy that. You know. Yeah. Yeah. Most of the time, actually, 95% of the time, if there's a new movie that has just come out, like Wolf of Wall Street or something like that, I'm gonna buy that. You know? Yeah. On Blu-ray. I
won't buy it on it. I haven't bought a brand new movie on DVD. And yeah.
Yeah, like when Draft Day comes out, which is an awesome movie, I'm gonna buy that on Blu-ray. Like, that was a really good movie. But otherwise, yeah, I don't buy as many movies on Blu-ray DVD nowadays. I think I used to, 3 or 4 years ago, Spencer and I were buying, it was like an arms race. We'd buy like 60 to 100 a year.
I bought like 200 movies once in like 2 months. I remember.
Yeah, nowadays I think I buy about 20 movies a year. I think.
Well, now it's
I at least buy once a month. I know. At least.
I buy a movie about at least once a month. But I noticed this is kind of like what happened before. I used to just buy all kinds of stuff because that was just how I watched movies. Yeah. I didn't watch them off TV. I didn't watch them off Netflix or anything like that. I would just buy a bunch of movies and I give it like the pawn shop for like $2 if not less a piece. Yeah. And that's why I got so many of them. Yeah. Now I notice like actually, I haven't gone to the pawn shop for a while, and I haven't really gone out and just bought like copious amounts of them. I mostly buy very selective movies. Yeah. Like I buy the ones I really want.
I bought a few. I did buy. I probably bought about 10 movies this year so far. I bought quite a few, 10 to 12 movies so far this year. I went to the pawn shop and got up like 6 movies. Then I've picked about 4 or 5 from like the store. That's it, because I bought a bunch of Blu-rays. I got the Passion of the Christ Blu-ray.
Oh, nice.
Got that one. I got Monty Python and the Holy Grail on Blu-ray.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah, and then I just got Wolf of Wall Street on Blu-ray. And then DVD-wise, got that Monopoly documentary I showed you a little while ago.
Uh-huh.
And about 6 or 7 movies I got from the pawn shop. So I've actually done pretty good for buying movies this year. And I think partly it's because I don't have Netflix right now. Yeah. I don't have streaming, and I don't really want to pay for like the DVD Netflix, to be honest with you, right now.
Well,
Like,
see,
I got so used to the streaming where it's like, oh, I can watch 5 minutes of it. Oh, I don't like it. Never mind. Like, I got so used to that where it's like...
I like the DVDs for the Netflix, because I like being able to get the Blu-rays.
What's that?
I like being able to get the Blu-rays. You don't get that, and you don't get the special features when you kind of stream.
For me, it doesn't really bother me that much because I'm just like, yeah, you're gonna every time you start it up, it's gonna be 10 seconds of weird glitchiness, but then it's gonna be okay. And it's like I only really watch documentaries on Netflix. That's the thing I loved about Netflix is watching like.
Well, the thing I liked about like that is I remember I watched every single like WWE one on there and stuff. I would just go to the fucking list and I watched every single one they had possible on like the streaming. Like I like it for like things like that.
TV shows
like I do like, but I remember like it was a pain in the ass for some shows because one, either they would cut out like they would either be missing episodes of a season, or they would end the season just like halfway through, and I'd be like, the fuck? Because I remember like I was watching
that was mostly on animes, right?
Yeah, because I was watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's it. And then I went online. I looked up and like, oh, there's like three more seasons.
Yeah.
So what I just did is I went and I got the Funimation like streaming thing, and they gave me a free month.
Oh yeah.
And I just finished like a Full Metal Alchemist on there. And
then was that when you were in Nashville? Or?
Yeah. And then I remember because I was also watching Samurai Champloo, and like by the time I got halfway through there, they took it off. Yeah. So I finished that off on there too.
Yeah. And
then I remember on South Park though they would miss some episodes. Like sometimes in like certain seasons there wasn't like this episode or that episode.
Yeah.
Like I think in season 14 they didn't have the 200th episode in there, and then the 201. Yeah. I don't know why that was.
Maybe because all the problems they had with that episode and all the people freaking out about that episode. I don't know. Yeah,
it was just so weird.
Yeah.
That was about the only thing though. But I liked it for just watching random ass movies. The one downfall though is you could sit there and the next thing you notice it's been 20 minutes and you've been flipping through movies.
Yeah.
Like I realized this was one of those ones I used to go like, no, you got 5 minutes to pick a movie.
Yeah.
Don't, because you can sit there and flip through ever. Just go click. Okay, I don't want to watch it. Let's see. I went through all the actions. Let's go through all the drums. Let's go through all the comedies.
Let me go back to that 200th episode of South Park for a second. One thing I never understood about the episode, because that made that big deal on that 2-part episode. We're going to show Mohammed on TV. Oh my gosh. You showed him like 4 seasons earlier.
Yeah.
Why is all of a sudden people are caring? Yeah, the Super Best Friends episode, all of a sudden people are like caring. Oh, they showed Mohammed. They showed him as a superhero like 4 years earlier. Come on, people. Like,
nobody cared.
Get with the program, whoever's freaking out about that. It's like, come on.
Yeah.
It's just stupid.
Well, I think in that period, it's like they had that scare thing. But the people that freaked out about that, they're like clearly not South Park fans, have been watching it the whole time.
Yeah, nothing happened. It was just like blowing smoke, of course.
Yeah. At some point, I guess, that's the only season of South Park I don't have is number 14.
You don't have it?
I own every other one, but I don't have number 14.
Did you get the most recent one?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I got that one, and then, I need to go. A lot of times I go to pawn shop and pick them up because you get them for like $5 for the whole season.
Yeah.
But I need to go down there at some point and pick up some new movies.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's probably a good place to wrap it up at. Make sure to go to oldmanorange.com for all kinds of extra videos, podcasts, and more. Till then, I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Cisco Garcia.
We will see you some other time.